Ladies and gentlemen, hang on a second. I'm cold, so I need a round of applause to warm this room up. So having said that, I bring you the best warmth from a West African black star. I bring you the warmth of Ghana. And it's not just a temperature warmth. It is a dream warmth. It is a self-assurance warmth. It's a confidence warmth. Now, if you are in this room to have conversations about Africa's creativity and innovation, then you are also in this room to understand that we completely accept a history of slavery. It happened. We know that the history of apartheid happened. We also know that the history of colonialism happened. But herein lies the power of the today. Our forefathers did everything they could. Some died for it, cried, blood and tears, just so that this generation of Africans that you are sitting with, this generation actually of allies that we Africans are also sitting with, will understand that there is a power in our voice. Our women understand their power. Our youth understand their power. Collectively, Africans are beginning to understand, or perhaps have understood for a long time, that there is power in the beauty of the African narrative. So we are boldly, this generation of women like myself and youth and women like Ambassador Rama, we are taking that really dusty seat that's, used to sit at the back of the room, the one nobody really paid attention to. And we have dusted it, and we're bringing it to the front of the room without apology. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in this room, you will first of all give me 3 rounds of applause, with the exception of the first one to bring me some warmth, which didn't work, but we'll try again. The first round of applause is because you accept that Africa is a beautiful, gorgeous, powerful continent. The second one is because you are excited about Africa's present and even more excited about Africa's future. And the third, which should be louder, is for me, your host. My name is Anita Erskine. Another round of applause for me, please. And I will guide the conversations here today, and I will warn you, not every single aspect of the conversations we're having today is comfortable. And it's not supposed to be comfortable, but it's supposed to be looked at, celebrated, dealt with. There's nothing horrible or there's nothing easy about building that beautiful diamond. It is rough, but for the diamond to become the one that we women like to buy, because Christmas is around the corner, hint, hint, we've got to have these conversations, and we've got to have them together, because we are leaving no man and no woman behind. So with that said, you're very welcome. And I want to say a big thank you to the Atlantic Council for making this comprehensive program possible. I now will yield the microphone to a woman whose voice is the very texture of the Africa we want, whose vision has been the very layered elements of the Africa we are fighting for. And who, by the way, I will say right here live, because we're online, that she probably makes better jollof than me, because apparently, Mr. Abba, Ghana and Nigeria have been fighting a useless fight. Apparently, the best jollof comes from Senegal. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, to officially welcome you to this program, Ambassador Rama Yade, who is also the one and only director of the Africa or Atlantic Council Focus on Africa. Rama, the floor is yours.
Just because of this public recognition of the power of the jollof rice, it was coming today. Thank you, Anita, for this powerful introduction. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. It's a pleasure to open this AfriNEXT event today. Before starting, allow me to share a confession with you. When I have been hired by Fred Kemp, the CEO and president of the Atlantic Council, 2.5 years ago, as a senior director of the Africa Center, I told him that one of my first goals will be to improve the knowledge of the continent in DC, but also change the narrative. And he added, don't only think that the fight for Africa will be external. You will have also to convince internally that this cause deserves to be shared by the other 15 programs of the Atlantic Council. And we can see that at the recent COP28 in Dubai, it was such a pleasure to see the Energy Center future African ministers on its highest platforms. In Marrakesh, the Geoeconomic Center, to showcase the reforms of Bretton Woods with an African perspective. Today, at the federal level, the Atlantic Council Engagement Team organizes this AfriNEXT event. Under Lauren Holland's leadership, who as usual does a fantastic job when it comes to the best class events, also Will and all the others, we can see that Africa is everywhere across the Atlantic Council. And this is the real performance to have the 16 programs of the Council beyond the only Africa Center mobilized to promote a new vision of the African continent. This could not be possible without DAI. DAI has been active on the continent for over 40 years as an implementer across nearly $3 billion on contracts spanning trade, agriculture, water, sanitation, climate change, and beyond. The AI has understood the transformative power of innovation and creation. Thanks to its large network across the continent, the organization has embraced with faith and ambition the strengths of the continent. The Africa Center shares that vision. And like DAI, we believe that Africa is the new frontier. Without ignoring the risks, we all know them. Poverty, terrorism, global warming effects. But Africa is also the home of half of the world's most dynamic economies. A middle class beyond the billion is growing, heading to 2060. We have the world's largest free trade area, which means clients, consumers. It's a huge market. It's the oldest continent, the youngest, and soon the largest. The population will double in 2050. 1 in 4 people on the planet will be African then. This revolution will change not only the African continent, but also the world. The median age on the African continent is 19. In the US, it's 38. It's also the home of the biggest digital revolution in the world, and 670 million cell phones are on the continent. And Africans use these cell phones to pay the cab or to drive a revolution. This is also the continent with the ability to feed the planet. 65% of the world's untapped arable land are there. Some resources in green technologies can only be found there. And the last point is, from victims to actors, Africans are working on becoming a voice on the international stage. Last September, the African Union has been welcomed at the G20 with a permanent seat, as a permanent member. This is the spirit of this important event today, AfriNEXT. And I wish you a wonderful moment of conversations, of dialogues, of exchanges of views. And I am sure after leaving this meeting today, you will find a way to be yourself an ambassador of the Atlantic Council, an ambassador of this AfriNEXT, an ambassador of the future of the continent. Anita, over to you. Thank you.
And how many of you have been to Africa? The ones who don't have their hand up, shame on you. But it's fine. There is nothing like the present. Ladies and gentlemen, sharing a few words with us, obviously, not being able to be here in person, is the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, and she has sent over a video. Please do welcome Her Excellency Amina Mohammed.